was really. Right, okay. Magic If is a technique brought to us by Stanislavski. It's basically the way, what I talked about in the last video about emotional recall, it's something to back that up with. So in Our Lads, where we had to play soldiers, soldiers kill people and they're around terrible circumstances and they do a hell of a job. So, how are we supposed to do that as actors? How are we supposed to feel that as actors? Well, what do I say to an actor? Do I say when I'm directing him, do I say to feel that you've got to go and shoot a man, you've got to go join the army? No. What we do is take light emotions and ask ourselves, what if they're overdone? I think it's Adler who teaches about emotional recall is cruel, so think about something minor and make it extreme. I think that's Adler. So, how do I judge killing someone? I've never killed someone myself. Killed an animal. I've accidentally drove over one. What if it was a human? There you go. That's emotional recall and Magic If. But then again, you can rely completely on Magic If to put yourself in those circumstances. So, for example, what if in Pillow Man, what if I actually killed children? Placing myself in that. If I use some examples of when Magic If has been used. I've worked with a lot of actors and actresses, and the one thing that they take is the Magic If, because the Magic If enables us to look outside the box. It enables us to look outside reality. I think there was a comment on one of my last posts that was talking about, as actors, it's our job to identify and then replicate. Replicate meaning copy. We have to place ourselves in the character's shoes by using the Magic If. Kate Winslet said in the acting studio she doesn't use emotional recall, she tries to place herself in the character's shoes to feel that emotion. If you can do that, then yes, that's a different technique. That's the Magic If. What if I was that person? That's it at work. Sometimes it defeats the object of emotional recall if you can get that emotion. It's all about different techniques. For example, there's hundreds of techniques. I'm just using my two favourite at the moment. That's emotional recall and Magic If. And the way you get around that is I'm going to go on to another technique as well, because Magic If is really fucking easy to explain. It's not really a technique, it's just some advice that I heard from Emma Thompson in the acting studio. It might have been Kate Winslet. She said, ask yourself why, till you can't ask yourself why anymore. Why is my character doing that? Why is this happening? Why are the circumstances happening? Every why must be answered. Even if your character doesn't know why, you must know why. Acting is one of the hardest professions because we can't just say, I don't know. One of my favourite things to do is, it's about working with one of my favourite directors, because he does this, Nigel Holman. He will stop you in the middle of a scene like that and he will ask you, what are you thinking? Why are you doing that? Then you've got to explain. If you can't explain it, then you're not a bad actor, you just clearly haven't thought about it. You can't rely on don't knows. Acting has to be, we have to be poets, we have to be scientists, we have to be soldiers, all of these things. We have to be everything to act. We have to be able to thought. A lot of people think acting's a lazy profession. It's not, it's just the people in it that make it look lazy sometimes. You must be constantly thinking. The difference is between good acting and lazy acting. Lazy actor will get a character and go, right, he's old, so I'll start to move like a cripple, I'll start to move like this. No. If you ask yourself why he's crippled, why he's got a bad leg, is it because he was shot? Is it because he fell over? Or Dysart, for example, our version of Equus, Dysart had to walk with a limp. He walks with a limp because you can't just say he walks with a limp, because then you don't know your character. Nigel, he told me that, say your character is 45 years old, then you have 45 major events to get to know your character, one a year. That's how well we have to know our characters. I have to, hot seating, for example. Hot seating is not a technique, it's an exercise to get closer to your character. You sit in the middle of a room, people ask you questions, you're in character. If you go for one of those questions and you go, then you've got to do completely more work on your character. My God, the things I would do to Kate Winslet.